Hey everybody! It's time for another story time! First of all, you have to check out how cool my hat is. I got it from Spins and I want to make it my entire personality. It is so cute and it reminds me of my avatar when I used to play Gaia Online. I don't know if you'll know the forum Gaia Online. It used to be really big, like 10-15 years ago. But yeah, I was obsessed with it and all the avatars kind of look like this. So my new goal in life is to dress like a Gaia Online avatar. So yeah, today's story time is something that happened quite recently to me. I think some of you might have known if you follow me on Twitter, but my ex-boyfriend from about 8 years ago reached out to me on Instagram and asked to meet up. In Japan, I only have 3 exes and 2 of them are really nice. The first one is my first boyfriend ever in Japan. I made a video about him a couple of years ago and honestly it was the worst relationship ever, quite frankly. I won't ask you to go back and watch the video because honestly it's quite old. It's like taken in my old apartment in a really dark room on my iPhone and the quality isn't very good, so I'll just recap quickly why this was the worst relationship I've ever had. I actually met him in a club, which is kind of a red flag, but at first he approached me because he wanted an English teacher, which is something that happens quite a lot. And the first few times we met up, I was literally just teaching him English, and then it progressed into more like dates. He was just like a normal salary man. He had like a cool haircut, he was really tall, and he didn't have like that much of a distinct personality, honestly, but he was pretty funny. And the first month we hung out, I told him I didn't want a boyfriend, and he would take me on dates all the time. He would hire cars to come pick me up. He would take me to really expensive restaurants. He gave me lots and lots of gifts. I guess you would call it like love bombing. So yeah, he love bombed me for like a month and eventually I gave in and I said that I would be his girlfriend. But then after we started dating officially, his whole personality just changed, and I would catch him out a lot on lies. Like I'd meet up with him. We used to meet up after his work and I would say, you know, you haven't been at work, you're not wearing your work clothes, and he'd say, oh yeah, actually I didn't go to work, I played pachinko all day, but he would tell me he was at work, so stuff like that. Another thing is that he started to tell me that I should be careful because I was gonna get fat because I was drinking soda and stuff like that. And this is something that happens quite a lot, I feel like, with guys in Japan. They'll try to neg you in this way, and that's what he did to me quite a lot. But at that time I was clinically underweight and he was actually quite chubby, so like, and I remember one time I was in the convenience store and I picked up like a cola or something, and then he took it out of my hand and he said, oh, you can't drink this, it has too many calories. I didn't want to kick off in the convenience, so I thought I'd leave it for later. So I put the cola back and I got like a flavored water, and he took that from me too, and he's like, if there's flavor, there's calories. So basically just a whole just yeah, a piece of shit. Also, once we went clubbing with my friends, and as we were leaving and I put my stuff in the locker, another man approached me and asked for my number, and I told him, no sorry, I'm here with my boyfriend. But as I said that, my ex walked in and he got really angry at this guy, and I said like, this guy just asked for my number, it's like not a big deal. Long story short, my ex and this random man ended up getting in a fight in the club. I think this is Atom or Womb, I forget. Anyway, so all 3 of us ended up getting taken downstairs and interrogated by the staff, and then that was already annoying and traumatizing because my friends were there. The worst part was the staff released us all at the same time for some reason, so we all ended up in the street together. And my ex and this guy had another fight in the street, like friggin' Yakuza in the road, and there's like cars trying to drive through. It was really embarrassing. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I can't date this guy. I think we only dated for like a couple of months. I let a lot go because obviously I was new in Japan and I wasn't sure what was like cultural difference and what was just him being insane. And the other funny thing he did is, I remember one night we went to Staya to rent a DVD, and he was drunk for some reason. I remember also the first month we hung out, he didn't really get drunk, but then after we started dating, he would just get drunk all the time. And when he gets drunk, he would just say like really awful stuff. But this particular evening, we were in Staya, and there was a cardboard cutout of Kyari Pamyu Pamyu for her new album. And he bumped into it, and I guess he thought it was like a man bumping into him, and without looking, he just punched it really hard and it snapped and broke in half, and then he spat on it. I mean, I knew I was gonna break up with this guy before this. It was just like the long, you know, like the grace period, I guess. I was like, oh my god. So I had to apologize to the staff at Staya, but the guy was like, oh no, don't worry, this is Shinjuku, like this happens every night of the week. We ended up obviously breaking up because of the thousands of stupid things he did. Also, I found him mailing other girls in front of me. He was mailing Japanese girls, and he thought that I couldn't read kanji, but I could read what he was doing. It was just awful. It was just like terrible. We broke up. Obviously we didn't have, we blocked each other. We didn't speak for, I guess 8 years or 9 years now. And I did think about him sometimes just because it was my first boyfriend in Japan. I don't have any residual hatred or anything towards him. It was just more like now a funny story. Because honestly, we didn't date that long. And, it was just honestly unfortunate. Yeah, so out of nowhere, I got a DM on Instagram, and it was from him, and he said, you know, like, long time no see. When I knew him, he could speak English a little bit, but he said he completely forgot all the English that he knew, and he asked if I wanted to meet up for dinner. My knee-jerk reaction was to say no, but I thought honestly it could just be interesting. Like, I was kind of interested to see how he's been this last few years. When I knew him, he was working at like a hair removal clinic. The money was pretty good, but also that kind of work seemed a little bit unstable. And you know, like, I have no resentment towards him. I genuinely just wanted to see that he's doing good. But I was kind of scared, like, what if he's angry at me? Because I did make a video about him. I'm like, what if he's seen the video I made about him and he's really, really angry? What if he's gonna murder me? What if... just all these things. But as I remember him, like, his personality wasn't that bad. Like, he wasn't like a scary individual. So that's the only reason I agreed to meet him. So I told him where I lived, and he booked a restaurant not too far from my place. I went there. I'm glad I dressed up because he booked a really expensive yakiniku. Like, it was really, really nice. It was a kind of yakiniku where a lot of the meat you can also eat raw because it was so fresh. It was honestly incredible, like the best yakiniku I've ever eaten. Normally yakiniku gives me a little bit of a tummy ache, but this was great. So I arrived first and I sat down, and I was really, really nervous. He actually, his train was delayed, and he mailed me and asked me to order him some things. So I ordered and I waited for him to arrive. When he sat down, he looked about the same as 8 or 9 years ago. He said to me, oh my god, you look exactly the same as when I knew you, which is kind of nice. I mean, obviously apart from I cut my hair. And he looked the same, I would say. I noticed he got his teeth done. He got like all like fancy white teeth, you know, like Hollywood people get the silly surgery. And yeah, he was wearing a lot of designer clothes, and I could immediately tell that at least he's doing well for himself. And we did like awkward pleasantries, and then he just said, okay, I wanted to just start off by apologizing. He said that after we broke up, he really, really thought about how badly he treated me, and it really was like a catalyst for him to sort out his life. And he moved into the countryside, and he's been studying for like the job that he wanted to do, and in that time obviously he made quite a lot of money too. And he said, I'm really sorry how I treated you. Honestly, I was just a child and I'm really embarrassed by my actions and I really want to make it up to you, which was really nice. I told him like he did a lot of dumb shit, but I don't feel any anger towards him and I only wish him the best, blah 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 blah. And honestly, it was really nice. The only thing I think I needed closure from was I always wondered if after we broke up, like maybe he just forgot me, maybe he does this like every week, blah blah blah, maybe if he didn't even consider what we had to be a relationship. But at one point I said like, you know, like it doesn't really matter, we were only dating for a couple of months, and he was like, no, we really dated seriously and I really value that relationship. And I thought that was nice. That was the only kind of closure that I really needed. And I showed him the video that I made of him on my phone, and he burst out laughing. He thought it was so funny. And I showed him the comments, and I was like, look, you have fans all over the world. And yeah, he thought that was really funny. I'm really glad that he wasn't angry about that. And then I wondered if he remembered some of the stuff because he was drunk at the time. Like I asked him if he remembered punching Kyari Pammy's cutout, and he's like, okay, I do recollect that happening. And oh, do you remember when you had the street fight with that guy in the club? He's like, yeah, I do remember that happening. And he really cringes about it now, and he's really embarrassed by it. And I think that's good. Like he obviously feels really bad for his actions, and he really sincerely apologized to me, so I thought that was really nice. But the reason he wanted to meet up is that he's starting a company in like tourism, and he wondered if I wanted to be a partner in his company. And we talked a lot about the tourism industry, and I gave him some ideas for his business. I actually gave him the idea that it seems like he will be using for the main part of his business. But again, I don't feel like I'm in the position to work with him now, but maybe in the future I can work for him a little bit freelance. So we had that kind of conversation. But also I'm really glad that I met him and we had a nice conversation, and I'm really happy that he apologized to me. But I don't intend on probably ever seeing him again. If he needs me to do some freelance work in the field that I work in for his company, I might do that, but that's probably as far as our relationship will extend from now on. But yeah, I was really happy because that relationship was such a defining factor for me when I first moved to Japan, because it was my first experience dating a Japanese person, and it was honestly quite traumatic. But at the same time, in that short time, I learned a lot of things. He taught me a lot about Japan. We had a lot of experiences. We went on trips. We went to Disney. It was a lot of things happened in that short few months, which I think was a positive experience for me in the long run. And I'm glad because most of my exes I'm still like very good friends with now. So I'm glad that we could like bury the hatchet and then we can be friends now. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It was nice too, like we had yakiniku and then afterwards we went to eat sushi, which is what we used to do when we were dating like 9 years ago. Like I can't believe he still lives like that, like going to eat really expensive yakiniku and eating sushi right after. I thought he was gonna make it awkward by asking me to like go to a hotel, go to his house or something, but he didn't mention anything like that. He wasn't creepy at all, and I think he pretty picked up the vibe that I'm kind of busy right now and I don't want to like be in a relationship, and if I did, it probably wouldn't be with him. So I think he really read the air on that, and he was really respectful, so that was really nice. So yeah, it was nice because sometimes, you know, like you have relationships, you break up and you never get closure. Sometimes you do get closure. I'm glad that I took the time to at least hear him out, and ended up being a really positive experience. Like I'm really glad. I asked him if I could make this video and he also said yes, so But yeah, that's my story. Let me know what you think. Let me know about your exes and if you ever got closure after any relationships, and if you think it's necessary to get closure. I never really viewed it as a necessary thing, but this time was nice. I think wrapping up a relationship in a way and where you don't hate each other is obviously the best, and I hope going forward that all my relationships end the same way. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and as always, please subscribe.